He did 3000 damage. Okay. Yeah, his damage is not that high. Alright, we're gonna be testing out the new unit, Petros. I did get him at R1 if you didn't watch the summon video yet. And I maxed out his skills, even his S1 as well. They gave him Astral set and also Avatara. Okay, I think they kind of trolled a little bit by giving him accuracy for no reason. Because this guy already ignores resist, right? His stun with his irascible mode cannot be resisted. So I don't even know why they're giving him accuracy to begin with. It's pointless. Yeah, let's take a look at his skills real quick. His S1 does attack one enemy. Damage is equals to 3% of max HP and 80% of his attack. The lower the enemy's HP, the higher the damage. His S2 is a passive skill. Enemies with HP below 20% cannot receive certain ally ability effects, including healing, rescaled HP, bonus turns, buffs, debuffs, debuff dispelling, death immunity, delayed death, increase AP and reduce ability cooldowns. When an enemy's HP is below Petros' HP, he is not affected by their ability effects. When taking hits, final damage minus 20%. For every 1000 HP higher than the enemies, final damage reduced an additional 5%, maximum limit of minus 50%. When any enemy's HP is below 30%, he enters irascible mode. For 2 turns, clears all of his debuffs, recovers HP and healing is equals to 100% of his max HP, and gains a bonus turn. This ability cooldown is not affected by any other abilities. Irascible mode is undispellable, attack and crit damage up and counter attack chance increased by 25%. Dealing damage recovers HP equals to 100% of the damage. After casting an ability, the carrier performs 2 pursuit attacks that deals crit damage. Damage per hit is equals to 15% of the target's max HP, up to 30% of his max HP, and inflicts stun for 1 turn, which cannot be resisted and won't miss. So they gave him accuracy for absolutely no reason. So that's nice. His S3 is gains attack up and crit damage up for 2 turns. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Damage per hit is equals to 3% of max HP, plus 75% of his attack. The lower the enemy's max HP, the higher the damage. Captain ability is Point War PvP by 40%. To be honest, I don't know what team to run him in. So I'm just gonna try to run him with Ggez to protect him a little bit. And also 2 of the stronger supports. Whatever, let's just bring Momo in for more single target damage, because I do need the enemies to drop below 30% HP in order for him to go into that irascible mode. His stats doesn't look too good. He has a very low attack stats. His HP is quite high, but again, you want his HP to be as high as possible so that he can do more damage and also tank better. So I'm gonna try to run this team. Let's see what he can do. Yeah, I think I might lose because again, I don't think he is better than Wuyu. Yeah, Wuyu is definitely better. He did 3000 damage. Okay, so far so good. You do need to run him in a team that can do a lot of damage, because if he cannot enter that irascible mode, he is pretty much useless at that point. You want him to be higher HP than the enemies at all times. Otherwise, this is what's gonna happen, right? He's not gonna be immune to the enemy's effects, and if he's not immune to the enemy's effects, then it's kind of useless. I mean, he's taking negative damage from Donar. Donar is pretty much healing him up every single time. Yeah, his damage is not that high. He did nullify Ggez's passive. He nullified Ggez again. Not bad. But I think Wuyu is just going to screw me up. Yep, everyone is dead. Wuyu is still better, I think. Because Wuyu is a support to her entire team, whereas this guy is really selfish. His passive does support your team a little bit, but you do need him. You do need the enemies to drop below 20% HP. Otherwise, it's kind of useless. He's mostly going to be countering units that are in the Mavis comp. So I'll try to run him against the Mavis comp and see how that works. I'm going to try this team against the second team. My first team should win, hopefully. If I don't win the first team, then we can't even see the second team, right? Okay, nice. We won. Oh, we won both. Petros did his damage is kind of trash, not gonna lie. Petros is really mid if you can't get him to the irascible mode. So you want to run him in a team that does a lot of damage, or if you have him at R2, then you can sort of run him in a team that is more tanky. Because right now, if you don't have other supports in your team, he is not going to be dropping the enemies to below 20% HP. Or was it 30%? I think it's 30%, right? If the enemies drop below 30% HP, then he will go into the irascible mode. But again, if you cannot drop the enemies below 30% HP, then it's kind of mid, because his skills do absolutely no damage at all. I want to see if he can bypass Mavis' buff, because if his passive can bypass that thing, then it should be really good. Okay, 33. Ooh, that's a lot of damage. 62,000 damage. He basically one-shotted the Mavis, which means that I couldn't see the passive of his passive. But Ggez's passive didn't proc though, so that's nice. Let's see here. Ggez did cleanse and also revive, so her passive still works on herself. She's still reviving herself and also cleansing. Maybe when he enters this graveless state, he doesn't. His passive doesn't work. Or, oh no, his passive doesn't work on Ggez because he got the debuff. Yeah, Ggez is immune to enemies with her debuff. Okay, let's try against this team. Same second team against his Jinchu plus Mavis comp. My first team should win. Nice. But we lost the second team. So what happened here? He did 140,000 damage, which is not bad. But also not too good though. So far this guy is not better than Wuyu. That's for sure. So you probably just want him to be in the team just to provide his passive to kill off Mavis comps. Otherwise, he is not really doing much for you. I'll try to run him in a Cleave team with Shuanpin and stuff, just to see if I can one-shot enemies in a Mavis comp. Because the enemies do need to drop below 20% HP, but what happens if I just one-shot them from 100% HP to 0, right? Would they still die from his passive, or would they trigger Mavis' passive first? I think that R6 Jinchu probably soloed me, because he can't really kill off Jinchu that well. He doesn't deal with shields that well. Okay, 60k on Mavis and 91k. I lost this because of Jinchu. Yeah, Jinchu is still a stupid carry that can just solo your entire team. Yeah, I got soloed by Jinchu. Okay, I'll try this team. No Mavis to protect him, but I am using Donar just to make sure that the enemies can die. Wait, no, I can't use Donar because Donar is slower than him. Okay, I'll use Tever then. So Tever should one-shot that Ggez, hopefully, and I think this one should be fine. Okay, nice. You won the first one, but you lost the second one. So far, this guy is 72,000 damage? What is this damage? Trash! Let's take a look. Does his passive work if I 100 to 0 a unit? Because I don't think it works against Ggez. So Tever should one-shot Ggez right here. Oh wait, he took the turn before Ggez. What? Oh, he entered the irascible mode already. So his first attack on Mavis already put the irascible mode on him because he dropped Mavis' HP below 30%. So he instantly casted his skills, right? But then he got one-shotted by Ggez. So you need a lot of support for him. He can just get one-shotted by Ggez just like that. Okay, you know what? Let's try this team once again. Because we saw that with Shuanpin's buff, he was able to drop Mavis' HP to below, was it 60% sorry, 30%. So he instantly entered the irascible mode and gained an extra turn. Now this team should work fine, I think, unless... No, it should work fine. We lost. He did 30,000 damage. Immaculate damage. He is not countering Mavis as I thought he would be. He goes for Mavis turn 1, which is kind of pointless if you think about it, because his passive already counters Mavis, right? You don't need to go for Mavis because your passive already counters her. So yeah, this guy so far is not looking too good, and he got all of those debuffs on him because he got lower HP than the enemies. So he's going to die right here, probably. He didn't enter the irascible mode because he couldn't drop the enemy's HP below 30%. And yeah, at this point he's gonna be useless. And the only other good DPS I have in this team is Momo, and Momo is not enough to drop the enemy's HP below 30%. Alright, one last try. I will use this team against the Mavis comp. I'm using Ggez as well, just to make sure that I can one-shot and see if the Zhangzhuli enters that mode or not, or if the enemy Ggez can save one of their allies. Because at this point his passive is kind of useless. We can't really see him being used all that much against a Ggez, unless you maybe put him in a Wuyu comp. But at that point, what's the point, right? You can pretty much put anyone in the Wuyu comp and it will work just fine. Okay, we won, not bad. Yeah, you're probably gonna be using him with maybe 1 or 2 other DPS just to make sure that you can enter the irascible mode. Because if you can't enter the irascible mode, then there's really no point. His skills do no damage unless the enemies are already at low HP, which again, oh, we failed the Tolan 0 hour as well. So yeah, his skills are pretty much useless. So we entered the irascible mode. He did 10k on Mavis and 18k. That is pretty trash. That's without Champion's buff. So, but still, that's pretty trash though. Okay, the JJ died instantly because of his passive, which is nice. So he does counter R2 Ggez a little bit, but again, you do need him to you do need the enemies to drop below 20% HP, but him alone cannot drop the enemies below 20% HP, because look at his damage. Okay, we did 40,000, not bad. Ooh, that was pretty good. Okay, let's see here. I have 1 AoE attack, so the Wuyu is not going to go crazy on me. We lost, of course. He did 37,000 damage. Feng Shun did more damage than him. I forgot this Sakura is R2, so I couldn't 0 hour her. Okay, he entered the irascible mode, but we still lost. Let's see here. He killed off Ggez and stunned her. And I think he's gonna die as soon as my Feng Shun takes a turn, because that's gonna add 10 stacks to Wuyu, and Wuyu will just one-shot every single one of my units. Wuyu one-shots every single one of my units. That was pretty close though. We almost won. But his passive doesn't work for some reason against Lian. So his Ggez was still able to revive for whatever reason. I don't know why. He lost again. Oh man. He did 200,000 damage. Ggez did 750,000 damage. He entered the irascible mode and doesn't one-shot Donar. That's crazy. And look, I think he's bugged. His passive is bugged. The Donar was still able to revive even though he is in the battlefield. So maybe it's not bugged. Maybe he's just not working. His passive doesn't include revives, right? Because I think his passive doesn't say that it stops revive. Yeah, his passive doesn't stop revives. It only stops delay death immunity or delayed death, which I guess Lian is neither of those. so he doesn't work against Lien, I guess. He works against Daji. I still don't know if he works against Mavis or not, because every single time he just one-shots Mavis. Okay, let's try this team once again. I will be countering the Daji, but I cannot counter his own Daji's revive. I can only counter the R2 effect that cleanses the allies and also give them a turn. And Cecilia, I cannot counter her because he doesn't include revives in his passive. Let's see here. If I can't win against... Wow, this is just terrible. I can't even win against the team that I'm going first against, and I'm countering one of their core units, which is Daji. This is just terrible. This guy, you can completely skip this guy, to be honest with you. He's not as strong as Wu Yu, obviously, and I think even Iki is better than him at this point. You will only run him for his passive, which is not even that good, to be honest with you. At this point, he's not really countering that much unit. He's countering Daji's R2 effect, not her entire kit, right? Her entire kit, what makes her so broken is that when she dies at R6, she will instantly get a turn and then be able to cast her S3. You're not countering that because she still has that part of her R6 passive. You're not countering Lien's revive. You're not countering Ggez's cheat death mechanic. You're only really countering Ollie's cheat death mechanic and Mavis's cheat death mechanic. But against Mavis, he goes straight for Mavis, which is kind of pointless because again, his passive already counts as Mavis, so there's really no point of him trying to go for Mavis. And yeah, if he has lower HP than Iki is going to apply that disease debuff on him, which means that he cannot lifesteal anymore and he's just going to die. He's going to take all of the effects from the enemies and just dies. Yeah, this guy's just not worth it. Last try and then I'm done. Okay, we actually won this time because he doesn't have an R2 Sakura. Oh, never mind, his Sakura is... This guy's relics is not even maxed out. That's how crazy it is. I can only win when his rival runes isn't maxed out. That's kind of sad, to be honest with you. So he one-shots, gains an extra turn. He one-shots Liam, and that's pretty much it. One-shots Daji. Doesn't one-shot. Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna try to run him in other teams as well, but so far, from the first testing, this guy is a skip. Just go for Wu Yu or even Iki at this point. Wu Yu 100% better than him, but Iki I'm on the fence about. I'll try to run him in other teams as well, in Beat Bout and also in Knockout and also in Point War. But yeah, that's about it. Ciao.